and welcome back. We're going to get into another weekly preview here. January the 22nd through the 26th coming up. A lot of these plays at either 52-week or all-time highs. Let's break down the large cap plays. As you can see, my one canceled order right there. Of course, I was just messing around with the SPY. So, as you can see, right into it. SPY, all-time highs. This is all the way back into 2021, where a lot of those plays would be looking at 21 into 22 all-time highs. This one is added, as you can see right here. So let's just go into the overall daily, like going to that 15-day, 15-minute time frame. And the main thing is you're up and above a lot of the charting you created, anytime, recently, over the past, 52 weeks. You're up and away. And the main thing is you're like really had resistance was where? Over here for the past few weeks, we're going to go up, going to go down, going to go up. In my opinion, this has just kind of been all up and away. Yes, I think we get some pullback, and at this point, this is probably a magnet to $500. Like NVDA, now that we're up and away and above all that charting, this usually gives you a lot of good, moving days. A lot of time when you get caught in this charting from before, you can have choppier days. Yes, once in a while, maybe when some kind of data is released, this, that, or the other, you can get movement. But when you get created in all this choppy, or all this movement that's kind of all in the same area, it gets choppy, right? In the same area, choppy. Same area, choppy. When you get up and above, then you can get some better moving days from the get-go. And then you'd hope for some more, but then, if you stay in the channel, it gets choppy. So the fact that you're up and away in an area that we haven't been in a while, I love it. Now, overall, the chart, I call this a seahorse. Kind of does look like a seahorse. Usually seahorses, though, actually, after I looked them up one day after going live, I always thought their tails went out this way. Most of their tails kind of curl back under. But my point is, it kind of looks like a seahorse with their head and their little nozzle, their nose going out. And this looks like a squeeze pattern. Truly does. A magnet to 500. But a lot of time you'll notice with the SPY, when we go up and away, that next day is kind of wonkier. Traders don't know where to go with it. So you can see here's one of those days right there. So notice that a lot. Only thing I'm seeing overall is that we're at all-time highs right here. And that seahorse look makes it look like, at least like maybe in pre-market into Monday morning, we head to 485. But I'd say overall, SPY is a magnet to $500 by weeks in my opinion. Although if and when we do have, maybe it's not the end of the, maybe it's not by Thursday or Friday, maybe it's the beginning part of next week. But 500 seems like it's a magnet at this point. If and when, though, we do have a pullback, look at the room, though, we have to come back down. Get back under 481.80, back under 481.30. This could really get a good-sized pullback right there. As you can see, I think all-time highs before this was right at 480. So you got some movement to go down, up or down. Now, alphabetical time. Let's go over to Apple here. Apple moving its way back up to this area. And again, look, now an area we haven't been in a while. I've been talking about this, so Apple could have bigger, rangier days. So either back under 191, could see a good pullback down to the 190 mark, and then below. But then we kind of get choppier once we get back into 187. If you remember what I talked about last week, before I gave this week's, or of course I should say before I gave this last week's weekly preview, I said what? Over one, go back and watch it. I said over 187, you'll have some room to move and breathe. Back under 180, then you can move around a little bit better, not be so choppy for the most part. We finally got the big gap up on Thursday, and it went up over 187, and now we've got room to go. Over 192, room to 193, then to 194, and possibly 195, 194, 50, 60 area, which again, let's go to the 52-week high. Then you're really getting close to it again, as you can tell. So again, we're up in an area, in my opinion, with Apple here that we could move. Back under 191 for the shorts, down to 190 and down again. Or over 192, more room to go up. I like Apple again this week, actually, now that we are over the 187 mark that I talked about. AMD as well. Let's just go back to the 52-week. That's right, highs. This is one of those tickers that you have to go all the way back into 21, I should say, 21, 22. And now we, again, I talked about this thing. It was either Thursday or Friday. I know Friday, but Thursday, even this getting to all-time highs. And we are there. So this, again, now has room to run. Over 176.25. This seems like a magnet to 178.75, right? And then to 180. In my opinion, Monday, if not easily by midweek. And maybe we do have a pullback. Because look, under 174, we've got room to roll, baby. Under 174, this could easily hit 170. If not, Thursday's high of day of around 168.75 area. So again, love AMD this week, has room to run. Why? Because we're up and away. That's going to be kind of the tail of the story here. Now, not quite Amazon. I will go over it this week. But over that 157 mark right there, let's just get into it. We can see we are at 52-week highs, which we've got to love. So again, go back to the 15-day, 15-minute, over 157. I can see clearly now. I'm sorry, I'll stop singing. It's probably not so good. But other thing I do like for the short side, now a lot of choppiness through here, as you can see, but look at the uptrend channel, baby. Now, I probably connected here. It doesn't really touch on Thursday, but does again on Friday. So connect the dots here under that trend line, and really essentially 152 to 53 at this point could see a good size pullback. Let's not let that happen, though. I'm long-term on Amazon. We want that to 200. Google, another one I'll bring up. Why? Look where we're at. 52-week highs, and if I'm not mistaken, another one of those plays. You've got to go back into 21.22, and you can see we're not far away from all-time highs on Google. So what's that mean? We've got room to run here. Essentially what's called over 148. We've got room to 140 what? 875, then 150, then 152. So definitely some room to run on Google here over that 148.20 mark. Now, back to the bottom side, what also do you see? Now, again, I think we could crash back down, because there's not really a lot of charting where we've been here recently, but look at the trend line, baby. Put that daily trend line in, boom, it hits there, it gets pretty close to hitting all the way through there. Put that trend line in, crack of that trend line back through 147, and in my opinion, though, all through the 146.50 mark, down to 146 and under 146, we start dumping about $1 plus. So watch that trend line crack or watch the squeeze up to 150 to 152 all-time highs. Now over to Meta. Again, what's this remind you of? We are what? Up, 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 and away. We're pulling some Superman stuff right here. 52-week highs. And if I'm not mistaken right here, we are at all. This is one of those other ones. No, this one's got, we are at now. We are at now all-time highs. I thought we finally made over to right at it. So you can see here with Meta, we are at all-time highs or right at it. So what's that mean? Essentially what's called over 386 right here, 385, which again, let's look what we hit on Friday, right there at all-time highs. This is on high squeeze mode because it was a little choppier. It did go up a good amount on Friday, about $4 or $5 in the end, but it was a little choppier. It wasn't just like right on up and then set sideways. So in my opinion, this is even on higher watch for a squeeze. Like a lot of these plays are, honestly, but this one's really so. Again, you can see the trend line and what I'd be looking for a short. Trend line crack back under 282, back under 382, back under 380. I think this could easily find its way back to 376, if not 372, 3 area. But if we squeeze, which I think we do have one more movement, where does it look like it's going to? What's that next whole big number? I know everyone would say 390, but 400. This is a magnet to 400, kind of like SPY magnet to 500. This looks like Meta is going to continue to squeeze. I'm looking for a nice pop over 385 and 386 on Monday morning, up to 387.50, then 388.75 on Monday morning here on Meta. Another one, actually, I did not put in here, Microsoft. My bad, forgot to put Microsoft in there. And another trend you're seeing, the uptrend channel, baby. And I'll just go throw one line in there so you can see what I'd be doing. Connect the dots. So somewhere off that one, into that one, try to touch those if you want to. Trend line crack. Back under 395 and then 394. Easily down to 392.50, if not down to 390. But also keep on high watch over 399 here. Seems like inevitable now at some point any day this is going to touch 400. And usually with these runs, team, they go over that whole round number. 405, 410, easily in sight for Microsoft, in my opinion, over the next week or so. Now the beast of all beasts that I walked up. Now go back to watch last week's weekly preview and what I said was on deck, because we're already at 550. Said 575 and what? 600s on watch. Well, here we go. We got every bit of it. This last week was a money maker for myself. Now for NVDA, over 396.50 here. What does it look like we're going to hit? Of course, we got what? Again, the trend line, baby. Boop, boop, boop. Look at the connected dots. So this is a magnet, in my opinion, on Monday. Even if we do have a reversal, I don't think we crack that trend line, because the trend line would be right around 380. It's not getting in. I mean, maybe it has a pullback on. Maybe it does. But I think it's, in my opinion, it's a minor pullback on Monday, in my opinion. Possibly down, like, we cracked some shelf just like we did. And I got a great short here on Friday morning. Went live. I'll have that trade edited. You'll get to see that. But under 392.50 and 390, maybe we get down to that 388.75 rule, 388, or 588, 588.75. But that's all the pullback I think we see. See another move like every time this is pulled back since we've made this run, Over 500, up, over, up, over, up, over. Do you see a move where we ever go down for the day? We do not. We what? We continue up. Or at least we go back up. So down significantly all the way back up. That's a $20 reversal. $15 reversal. Again, small reversal. Big reversal. I shorted this thing under 560. They hit all the way down to, look at that, all the way back on up. Massive reversal. Big reversal. Big reversal. So I think if anything, again, on Monday, maybe we do have a red day. But I don't think it takes us that too low, at least to the trend line. Maybe we do. But in my opinion, this chart setup says, I want 600 and I want it now. And maybe it's that. Maybe we get the squeeze, jump up over 596 right here, 596.50, squeeze straight to 600, maybe a hair above it. And again, like I told you in the last stock, you usually go a hair above it. So I would imagine at least 601, 602, 602.50, somewhere in there gets hit on the initial surge up. And one we'll go into just to show you kind of what I'm talking about, which I didn't want to break down because I'm just not a fan of it. Look what NFLX did. 503. The next day, just over 500 again. Where to? About 503. I could see, and I'm not going to break it down. Not a big fan of Netflix this week. It's going to be choppier, so I'm not going to really get into it. NVDA's the baby here, or the big granddaddy, I guess, however you want to word it. The grandmama, the big mama, the sugar mama. But this seems like it's either going to be pullback, then squeeze up and go. If that happens, I bet we hit 605 to 610 by end of day. If we go up right away, like you've seen with what I just showed you with NVLX out of the opening gate, and we squeeze to 600, it's most likely going to watch out. Be careful over 600. 601.50, 603 gets hit. Then we see that pullback. And then could get that pullback that we've been waiting for. We'll see. I won't be challenging it too much for the longs, honestly. I said this on Friday in Dex Lobby. 600's obviously it's a done deal, but I said that like obviously last week. That was my thing all week long. 575 to 600, not surprised. But overall in the run, I'm going a hair over 600, 605, maybe 625. At that point, it'd be hard for me to ever go long on this because I don't know where how many fake out breakouts we could have. I'd kind of just wait for the dumps each morning, kind of like we have gotten, Wednesday, Friday, right? So I think that's coming, but I think we still get to 605 to 625 before we ultimately kind of get that kind of back down to maybe the 530s, 540s, somewhere in there. We're up so high, especially the higher we go, the overall that pullback, yes, it could be big, but that means we won't maybe even see the 400s again, at least for a while, in my opinion. So I just want to give you that long take on NVDA. Now, overall, the last one I'll go over here will be Tesla. Great short back under 207.50 and 206 and 205. Why? We just haven't been under this area in such a long time. Sorry, I know the volume kind of then starts getting in the way, but you can see here, back under 205 especially here. I love this in 203.50. This could easily hit 200, and usually some days, or we've seen this in the past, I think it was back in late October. I was going to say late October, November, I forgot when that was, when we got that crack back through 200. I remember shorting this one morning. I was like, how low is this going to keep going? Because I stopped shorting it. I think the 200 crack, I got some movement underneath that. Obviously, opening bell and the trend line, the daily trend line crack right there I got. But you get my point. This could really easily see 200. And for those that are like, I'm going to load up at 200, I would start at 200 and gather down, in my opinion, to the 190s, to the 190s. Okay, 200 to 1, not just 200. Scale in down to 190. We could maybe even hit 180. I think easily 190 though is on deck here for Tesla. So again, like this a little bit more to the short side. If we can start crack those levels, you can see. But we're so far down here, we could really start moving our way back up. If we get back over I think 213, 214 has been pretty significant. Well, we're right at that Monday morning. Do we squeeze up, pop, and then if we do, we're right to 216. Over that to we're to 218, possibly 220. And then it starts to get choppier there from again back to the 220 to 225 mark. Could get a little choppier, but then back over 225, easily could rip to 228.75. Then up all the way to that, over that in my opinion, all the way up to 231, 232. So there's some good jumpy areas for Tesla. Over 225 it could really go. And under 205 it could really go. So kind of wait for those areas. Otherwise, small caps, which, you may have saw a couple of those. I loaded this one on Friday for traders, literally opening bell. Stay away from it. It's probably going to be a little bit choppier. Come over, get NVDA with me at the opening bell. And NVDA here at the opening bell, I had the 579 shelf crack down to 576, 575 area. Essentially this mark right here. Whammy, baby. And so I got traders to go away from small caps because they're just dead. Mesa, gross, EWTX was another one that did pop up in pre-market and gave some run and hope of life, you know, from 10 up to about 1350. But then look at that, just set sideways all. It didn't give you a short or a shelf crack. I forgot what this was another one I saw popping up. That was nothing though. That was on the top gainers list. But ELAV was another one that I was, you know, traders, it's slowly been popping up. See, gross. It's just, we're not getting a lot of big movement. So small caps have been overall dead. To me this week, my favorite plays, now again, Apple. I usually don't trade it. I like Apple. I've really been liking AMD. I'll put that as a top tier number 1. Apple tier 2, Amazon tier 2, Google tier 2. Good plays. Tier 1 metas for me. Tier 1 meta for me this coming week really could move. That's tier 1, tier 2, although I like it. Microsoft, I'm going to skip it. That's more of a tier 2. NFLX tier 3. NVDA tier 1. 100% tier 1. Tesla's tier 2, tier 1. Depends on what day it is. It's kind of like meta. Someday it gives you good movement, some not. I think the best moves next week are honestly, in my opinion, are going to come from AMD. Oh, I forgot. SPY. We'll give it a tier 1 next week. And NVDA. The rest are either tier 1, tier 2, Tesla Meta, or just tier 2 or below. All right, that's AK47. PrimeTradingInvestments.com. We'll have that link out there for you again. Tradecaster.com. Deck will be gone this coming week. So come over and join me live if you want these alerts. I got you covered, baby. Let's get it in 3, 2, 1. Bang!